This video is made for entertainment purposes only. All claims are alleged. The contents of facts and all data shown in this video have been taken from various social platforms. Any resemblance to any person, entity, in any form is purely coincidental. My intention is not to hurt the sentiments of any person, personality, or any community in any form. Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to Empress Lioness. We are back to review LoveandMarriageHuntsville, episode 6. We're going to get right into it. So we go to the first scene where we have Melody. She arrives at Tiffany's house, and they do a little chit chat and small talk. And then Melody invites Tiffany to her tea party. Tiffany says she left the spa day with high blood pressure. She allowed Kiki to pull her down to her level. She wasn't herself. And what I say to that is, Tiffany, you was poking the bear. You was putting your business in places it had nowhere to be. You had nothing to do with that. You just wanted to make a scene and be involved in something so bad. Like, you didn't have to. You can feel the way you feel about Tiffany. A lot of people are saying that your view on what Kiki did was valid, and we agree. But at the same time, it's the way you went about it. Okay, you don't have to agree with this person, but what they did, and it's not like they're begging to be your friend or whatever. So for you to insert yourself in something like that had nothing to do with you, you weren't even there. You were doing too much. So you're not gonna try to flip it to make it seem like you were the victim, because you weren't. Or like she came at you and you stooped to her level. No, she stooped to your level because you put your business in places that didn't belong. So you got what you asked for, and that was that. So then we go to Melody. She tells Tiffany about the birthday party and how Martell showed up uninvited. And she said they talked on the phone before the party, and she told Martell, "You're not invited to the birthday party." And she said that Martell got angry and said, "You got all these other people coming, but the dad is invited." So Martell knew he wasn't invited, and he knew he was coming to make a scene, to be messy. And all these people saying, "Oh, Melly should just let him in, that's their dad, whatever." First of all, in real time when this happened, they were going through a custody battle because of him. He initiated full custody, and he's trying to take her children from her, knowing that's not in the best interest of them. It's just not, and we know this. We all know, he knows that those children love their mother. They know she's a good mother. Why the fuck would you try to take them from her? That doesn't make no fucking sense, just because you think they got too many babysitters. You would need some fucking babysitters if you actually had some real business going on. That's what happens when you're a working mother, a working parent, and you have children. You have to have childcare for them, especially when you're busy and you're trying to create a life for them. That's what the fuck happens. You have babysitters, and you exaggerating this number. And have y'all noticed he loves to use the same number every time when he's fucking lying and want to exaggerate something? 20-something women, 20-something girlfriend, 20-something million. Lying, talking about he worth 20-something million in that doctored up magazine that he had article. 20-something babysitters. That's how you know he's lying when he says that. We know good and well Melody ain't had no fucking 20-something babysitters. Let's just be real here. And then he gets mad because her brother babysits them. That's their family. Close family. If she needs a babysitter, instead of getting a random person, like a random nanny or something, a stranger to watch them, I think that's better than getting somebody random. Asking your family members, your fucking village, to help you and assist you with your children when you need them to. She has a village, a very strong village, and she should be able to utilize it. We all know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. So when she utilizes her village to help raise her children after a divorce and separation where their father is not in the home anymore because of his stupid actions, that should not be a fucking problem. It shouldn't at all. And it's sad that people still falling for this bullshit, talking about ain't nothing wrong with Martell. Oh, he's the father, and don't see through his bullshit. It's ridiculous. It was this one reader on here talking about, oh, she don't like Melody, and oh, he could have came to the party because yeah, he the daddy, and he don't gotta come with nothing. But this man don't come with nothing all the time. I don't want to hear none of that. Oh, he always do shit for his, in his interview. He always do stuff for his children, but it ain't for everybody. You do the bare minimum. I'm sure you do the bare minimum. But whenever it's something where it costs money or whatever, you just want to ride off somebody's coattails. Which, what do you mean? Let's see if he plan a party next year when he on his year. Let's see. We're gonna see if we even still interested in the show. We're gonna see if he plan a party next year. Cause he ain't playing none since. He ain't playing, like Melody said, he has not done anything since they divorced. So for people saying, oh well, he didn't have to show up with anything, he didn't have to have a present, he's good enough for just showing up. But we heard from the source who is actually experiencing this, he hasn't done anything like that since they divorced. He remember when he didn't have any gifts and presents and he didn't want to spend time with his children because he wasn't able to do anything for them, and he hasn't done anything for them since. But whenever Melody does anything, he wants to include himself so he can take half the credit or make it seem like to his children that he done anything. So it's too many pick-me's, it's too many gullible people, it's too many people that want to fuck Martell falling for his bullshit and not seeing him for who he really is. And it's sad. And I'm not one of those millimeters who's so emotionally invested, but I just see through the bullshit. And it's bullshit. Like, if she invited him on the vacation, she invited him and his mother on the vacation that she planned that cost way more money than his party. And she didn't want to invite him on her birthday, especially when it was on her year. It was her time. So she didn't have to, she didn't have to let him come. She didn't have to let him tell him to, hey, well, you can get her after, because like we said, the party ended at fucking 12 o'clock. He had all day after that to come get her, and he didn't do that because he was there to cause a scene and to make Melody look bad again, especially to his kids, because he texts Mariah after about Melody not letting him come or stay. So it blows my mind how these people still fall for this bullshit and still want to vouch for Martell. It was her year, and it's a lot of people who has not gone through custody or whatever. And I'm not saying I've never gone through custody, but when you go through the courts, there are laws and procedures and whatever in place. So if she did not want to invite you to that, when she still said you can get her on that day, just like you were complaining all day to get her on that day, you could have still came and got her after the party. It was just that party. You could have did something with her after that. So people are still falling for that. It's crazy to me. I just really don't understand how people are still falling for his bullshit. She did her party on her time, and it wasn't even all day. You had all day after that to do whatever you wanted to do on her birthday, like you were insisting, but you didn't do that. Like, really, come on with the bullshit. So Melody lets Tiffany hear the recording that she recorded when she called Martell, or Mariah called Martell after her party, and let him know, hey, you can come get her if you're gonna come get her. And he said, no, I'll get her Monday. So you did all that, and he wasn't trying to do nothing for her on her birthday. Like I said, he wanted to ride off the coattails of Melody. make it seem to his kids that he was involved in that, because it's all about image for him. And for people who don't believe that bullshit, go back to the first season when they were talking about divorce in the bed. I think it was after he got his ankle sprained or surgery or whatever. They were in the bed, and Melody told him she was talking to divorce lawyers, and one thing that he said was, I don't want to get divorced, I love you to death, and we're the most popular people in Huntsville. So that lets us know that it's a lot about image for him. And if people who don't believe that, knowing he's a fucking narcissist, you're done. And it's just sad to me. But it is about image. That's why he showed up, for image, so he can make it look like to his children and to all of us watching that he did it just for his child, because he wanted to be there. If he really wanted to be with his daughter on her birthday, like he was acting, he would have gotten her after. The party was only 4 hours. He literally had all day, and he didn't want to do that. So it wasn't about that. It wasn't. And we're not going to keep on playing like it was, and keep on. These people keep saying Melody did. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. He did that shit for it to look a certain way, and to make Melody look a certain way. Because if it was really about his child and really wanted to be there with his child on her birthday, he would have got her. After that, he literally had all day. Like, let's stop being stupid, and stop want to vouch for Martell just because you want to fuck him. Like, it's get a clue. Melody says Martell is manipulative and a narcissist, and she wished she had her kids by a man and not a queen. And hopefully during this reunion, she dropped all them fucking receipts. She dropped receipts, and she exposed Martell ass. Like, I really need her to stop protecting this man. Stop. I hope this reunion and later on the show, whatever she needs, she really need to expose this man and talk that shit. Like, cause I would have been did that shit. Like, you not about to keep making me look like I'm doing you so wrong, and I'm not trying to co-parent, and I'm such a, like, make it seem like she's bitter or something. Like, girl, look, let that nigga have it. You better let that shit ride. I really hope she let that shit ride. I really do. Because I'm getting tired of Martell. Because he really be lying. He's a narcissist. He really be lying. And people really be falling for that shit. But next we go to the next scene with Kimmy and Maurice. Kimmy lets Maurice know she's having a hard time getting Monster to clean his room. Maurice says Kimmy just takes Monster not listening to her. In their confessional, Kimmy says Maurice is giving her a hard time about enforcing the rules with Monster, but he's having a hard time as well. He said at least he's trying to enforce the rules. So my thing with this, Maurice, you are full of shit. You're full of shit, and what the fuck did that mean? You trying to enforce the rules? You are the dad. You are the father. You're supposed to be the man of the household, right? What the fuck you mean trying to enforce them? No, nigga, you enforce them. It ain't no trying in it. Like, come on with that bullshit. You trying to enforce, and then you don't back Kimmy up when she's the one trying to enforce them, not you. She's the one trying to enforce them. You won't back her up, because you won't back her up. In her fucking household, in y'all household, y'all run the fucking house, not him, not Monster. Monster don't run shit. Y'all run that household, so he needs to abide by the rules. And Kimmy's trying to enforce the rules, but she can only go so far, because she knows and she has an understanding that she is the step parent and she's not the biological parent. So she can only do and say so much. She can only discipline him to a certain extent. But you acting like you don't understand that, and then trying to make it seem like, oh, she was saying something off the wall, trying to make it seem like she don't care for Monster as her own, when she does, and I know she does. But she still understands the dynamic, and it's not like you don't understand it, because I'm pretty sure If Monster was still back living with his mother and her husband, his stepfather, you would have a problem with his stepfather and trying to discipline him like you would as his biological father. You would have the same issue. So for you to be trying to gaslight Kimmy, like she said something wrong about how it is when you're trying to discipline someone else's child, is crazy to me. But it's not new. It's not surprising because now we're seeing you like Maurice. He is very subtle with his bullshit. Now the other two, Marceau and Martel, they out there with it. They don't give a fuck. But Maurice, he is very subtle and he masks it very well. But we finally we see it now. Yeah, he's definitely a gaslighter. He's definitely misogynistic, just like his brother. Chauvinist, just like his brother. Yeah, but what do you mean you're trying to enforce it as the father and as the man of the household? So it's crazy to me how some men really wanna have the semblance of the leader, but they don't want to lead for real. They just want the label. They just want the title of a leader, but don't want to lead. Because clearly Kimmy is the leader. Clearly Kimmy runs the household. And you don't even want to participate in it. You just want to sit back and let her do everything. But then when it comes to certain things, or you want to look like on the outside, you want it to look like you run shit, and you don't. You don't even want to participate and engage in it. But you got a problem with her trying to enforce the rules with your son that you insisted to bring to her. And I see why Kimmy didn't want him to do that. Because she's clearly the one raising him. For real, for real. When it comes to it. She's clearly the one doing majority of it. That I see why she didn't want that. Not because she didn't love him, Monster. Not because she didn't care for Monster. But because she knew it was gonna fall, majority of it was gonna fall all on her when it came to the household discipline. I see and I understand why she didn't want him, because she already raised her son. She only got one child. She raised her son. She raised him well, and he's out of the house. She at a certain age where I should be able to sit on my ass and relax and do what I want to do without having to worry about another child. I did that, and I did it by myself. So it makes it even worse when she's raising another child that's not even hers. And I'm not saying that she don't care, but I understand that. Like, bitch, you forced me to be okay with this, with Monster moving down here. And then you don't even want to fucking enforce the rules with him, but you want to complain every day about him not doing what you want him to do, not being at a certain level you feel like he should be at as a teenager. How the fuck you expect him to do that? But you don't even want to instill you don't even want to instill nothing in him. Because you're not going to instill anything in him, allowing him to disrespect your wife, his stepmother, in her house. Disrespect the house and not listen to nobody. How the fuck you gonna expect him to get to where you complain about him so much? You complain about him not being where you feel like he should be, but then you don't want to take action to get him there. You're not gonna get him there by letting him do whatever and not listen and not have discipline. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, Maurice, he won. Yeah, I see you. Kimmy says when Monster doesn't listen to Maurice, well, no, when Monster doesn't listen to her, Maurice should back her up, but he doesn't. Maurice says she made up the rule, but you want me to enforce it. Maurice, just because she made the rule, you feel like, well, you made the rule, so you should enforce it, and I shouldn't have to say anything. Bitch, do you hear yourself? You make no sense. What the fuck you mean? That's your son, though. That's your son. And that's y'all house. That's her house. Any rules that y'all put in within the household it should be enforced by everybody. And I'm sure her rules are very They make sense. I'm sure they're not outlandish. She talking about just getting him to clean his damn room. But you talking about, oh, well, you made that rule for him to clean his room, so I shouldn't have to enforce it because that's your rule. So you're the only one who should enforce it. That sounds dumb and weak. Like, you don't want to. What is it? What is the dynamic between you and Monster? Because it sounds like you really like trying not to be hard on him, because maybe y'all relationship was strained and you don't want to come off as the bad parent because he probably feel a way about you after you and his mom got divorced. It's something there, because it doesn't make sense for you to not be enforcing no rules and stepping up as his fucking father and the man in the house to let him know you gonna get this shit done, but then you want to complain about him not doing shit all day. That makes no sense. Then after Kimmy and her confessional said, well, as a boneless parent, there's a limit to disciplining, and Monster knows that because he does. He takes advantage of it, and he also sees that, yeah, my stepmom says this, but I don't have to do it because I know my father is not going to step in and reassure her and make sure that I do what she says. So I don't have to respect her, and I don't got to worry about him. So y'all are creating somebody. Y'all are creating a monster, because he don't got no respect for your wife in her household, and he know you not gonna make him fall in line. So he gonna do what the fuck you want to do, what he's doing now. So he tries to gaslight Kimmy and make her feel like she said something wrong as a bonus parent, and she gonna say, so you don't feel like you're Monster's parent. She didn't say shit like, she literally said she is his parent, bonus parent. That is a parent. But you trying to gaslight her and make her feel like she said something wrong. She said nothing wrong. She said exactly what every step parent feels, every parent feels. Parents know when it comes to step parents, they only want, and they know they'll feel away and have an issue if a step parent disciplines them, steps out of bounds. Basically, they step out of bounds or they take it too far and discipline their child like their own. We all know this. So him acting like oblivious to this, like what Kimmy is saying doesn't make sense, is crazy. So then Kimmy says she doesn't want to. She knows Kiowa's Monster's mother, biological mother, her rules overshadow hers. She knows that as a step parent, and that's just the truth of the matter. Because, like I said before, Maurice, he knows his rules overshadow Kiowa's husband, his stepfather's. So for him to be trying to give Kimmy a hard time about and acting like he don't understand, it's crazy. So Maurice tries to make it about Kiowa and Kimmy feeling the way about Kiowa, and he says, "Oh, the issue started when her and Kiowa weren't on good terms." And I'm like, "What are you trying to do?" Because he got a wake up call when he did call Kiowa. But it's like, why are you bringing Kiowa into this? Kimmy clearly keeps saying it's not about Kiowa, it's about you. It's about you. It's not about Kiowa. It's about you. In real time, in this household, you don't enforce shit. You don't want to step up as a father. I guess you want to be the good parent. You don't want to like the bad parent. That's why I feel like it's a dynamic where Monster and Maurice have some type of break or crack in their relationship, father and son relationship, where he feels like he doesn't want to go as hard or discipline him as much. But I feel like Maurice called Kiowa because he thought they were going to argue. He thought they were going to disagree, and he thought they were going to start fighting again. And I seen right through that. Like, I see you. Like, why the fuck would you call and then try to, like he said, flip Kimmy's words and make it seem like she was saying something including Kiowa, in which she wasn't. She kept saying that shit. But he got a wake up call because they both agreed. They were on the same page. Maurice wasn't. And when he found out that they were on the same page, oh, he wanted to hang up the phone real quick. So Kimmy said she doesn't appreciate him saying it that way to Kiowa because we all know what he was trying to do, trying to start an issue again. But he didn't like that they agreed. So he said, oh, we'll have to agree to disagree. And I just feel like, well, you really showing your slip. Like, honestly, like, what is so hard about you disciplining your son? But then you want to complain about him not being disciplined. Make it make sense. So we go to the next scene. Martell pulls up to Maurice's office. Martell says everything is coming together for him mentally, financially, and credit-wise. I feel like he lied, but we're going to keep it moving. He tells Maurice him and Mel aren't good and tells him about the party. Maurice asks what led up to that. And Martell lied again. He never wants to tell the full story, or he never wants to start the beginning. So he says they went back and forth a little before the party, but it wasn't dramatic. So what he said is confirming what Melody said. They talked before the party. She said once again, no, you're not invited, and yet he still showed up to cause a scene. You wanna know why? Like I said in my first review, he showed up to cause a scene and all of that because he brought a fucking folder, and I feel like it was a folder to show, oh well, I can. Nah, she read your ass them laws, and she didn't have to allow you to come there. Period. But she said get her after, but you didn't. If you really wanted to be with your daughter on her birthday, like you were insisting and making such a big scene, you would have got her. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Trust me, you would have got her. So I don't want to hear none of that shit. Everybody who keep talking that shit, talking about, oh, it was her. Trust me, if he really wanted to be with her on her birthday, he would have gotten her. He had all day. Period. Maurice says they have to find their way back home and figure out what's the best way of moving forward. And you see, he ain't say nothing about, oh well, it's not going good because I took her to court for full custody after we got a divorce and we both agreed on joint custody and that was going well, but you want to take her to court for full custody. Of course co-parenting is not going to go good. It's not going to be good if you trying to take my motherfucking kids from me for no fucking reason. When I left, we didn't have to argue about custody. We both joint custody, but you want to take my children away from me. Of course, we're not going to be co-parenting good. Like, let's be fucking for real. But he never wants to bring that up. He always wants to switch and make it seem the story to go in his best interest. And he full of it. And I really don't see how people don't see through his ass and see the bullshit. Like, it baffles me when I hear people say, B, you trying to go hard for this nigga. It's one person I used to watch, and she's not even a TV show review, but she's like a intuitive reader. Because I'm into that. I'm spiritual. So she talking about, oh, ain't nothing wrong with Martell. Oh, he ain't have to show up to the party. He ain't have to show up to the party with nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Da, da, da. Like, girl, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, if you don't see that Martell ain't nothing wrong with him, and oh, he ain't have to show up with nothing, especially when he ain't did shit for them for real since they got divorced. When he went months without seeing his children because he couldn't do nothing for them and he was embarrassed. Melody pays for their school, all that. So what the fuck do you mean? He don't gotta do shit. He don't gotta show up with nothing. That's the least you could do. That's the least you could do. Since you don't do since you don't pull none of the big weight. The fuck you mean he don't gotta show up with nothing? He's a father. He can just show up with himself. Bullshit. Especially after you ain't did shit for years. Yeah, you need to do something. And trust me, you got some money to keep driving that motherfucking big ass truck around. I know that bitch take up gas, all that shit. Probably the only thing you got to your fucking name, your ass could have went somewhere to Dollar General, Dollar Tree, whatever, and got something. But you showed up with a motherfucking folder trying to cause chaos like you did and do exactly what you did. Get the fuck out of here. So for people like that with that mindset, get the fuck out of here. And I know why she feel that way, because she's male identified. She support that struggle of bullshit. Ain't nobody got time for that. Talking about ain't nothing wrong with him. He ain't have to show up with nothing. And it really ain't about him not showing up with anything. It's really the fact that you showed up to make a scene, trying to make it about the kids to make Melody look bad, when it wasn't. It wasn't about your daughter and her birthday. You didn't want to celebrate with her, because if you did, you would have got her. I'm going to keep saying that. He would have gotten her after. I'm talking about all day. And did whatever with her. But he did not. So it wasn't about the kids. It wasn't about him being no father. It was about him trying to make Melody look bad. Period, point blank. And I ain't going to go back on it. But then we go. They have a Martell say, oh, they got a long road ahead. Y'all definitely do. And that long road was created by you. For you being a fucking narcissist. And being mad because you don't have no fucking control. So Maurice says he's sometimes envious of Monster because he wonders where he would be if he had Monster's life growing up. Montel says probably the same place or worse. He says spoiled kids turn out worse sometimes. And I agree with that. Yeah, sometimes spoiled kids can turn out worse, because spoiled kids, their parents shelter them and they don't teach them how to appreciate things and work hard for things. So they feel like they should get handouts whenever, wherever, and not work for shit and not appreciate shit. That's how they probably lose everything or don't know how to get it. But you not giving him nothing. You not showing him really no structure for real or disciplining him when you're not even trying to help your wife to discipline him. But you want to complain all the time about what he ain't doing. Let's be for real. Come on, man. Make it make sense. Martel says his mom says people are who they are. Yeah, we know. That's why she just sits and she's okay with you being who you are, which is a piece of shit and a narcissist. And she doesn't hold you accountable. That's what that is. That saying is her not holding anybody accountable. And saying and just wiping her hands with, just like she wipe her hands with you. That's why you are the way you are, because she ain't hold you accountable. She just said whatever. And I feel like you wasn't even raised with your mama. Your grandma raised you. But see, clearly that wasn't enough, because you said yourself he didn't have no discipline. But Marta says his mom, Maurice says he doesn't want society to run over him, his son Monster, because he doesn't have heed to discipline. But you not making him heed to discipline. You said yourself, and Kimmy says, you don't back her up when it comes to disciplining him. And you feel like you don't have to. So Monster is seeing you not back up your wife when it comes to disciplining. So why would he heed to discipline? When he sees, okay, my dad ain't really on me like that. This is my stepmama, but she ain't my mama. So if he don't make sure I listen to her, what the fuck? Why should I listen to discipline anyway? Like, come on. So you need to take accountability for that. You're not helping. You're not helping the situation when it comes to disciplining him. Marto says he was bad when he was Monster's age. He said he was beating up people going to alternative school. Maurice asked him what made him transition. He said sports and ROTC due to structure, because he didn't have it at home. And all he had to do was self-motivate himself since middle school. like I said before, his dad was not there. His mom didn't raise him. His grandma did. He was already bad at that age. So we see why he is the way he is. Next, we go to the Tea Party. And everyone arrives. Stormy arrives in her confessional that her mother has had feelings about Melody for a while, and she hopes she can see their dynamic and move forward and not be in a negative space. And I feel like that was capped, because when we get to the scene where Miss Betty finally wants to say what she said, it seemed like Stormy was like cackling about it, like, "Oh, I'm ready for you to go in on her." Like, so that shit she said in the confessional was capped. Nell says, "Can we get to the root of the problem, because she feels an energy amongst the group. There's an energy between Melody and Stormy." Betty says, "Do you think there's an energy between her and Stormy, or Stormy's mother?" Betty says, "There was something on the social media, but someone else is talking that has nothing to do with the situation." And I feel like, girl, you got an attitude and all that shit. Just say what the fuck you gotta say. I don't feel like Neil was coming from like a bad place. She was just like, the purpose of this tea party was to communicate with each other and learn how to do it respectfully. So I don't think Nell was coming from a bad place. She was just like, "Hey, we all fun and games, but let's actually see if this tea party actually does, what it says it's supposed to do. Let's get these problem issues out and move forward respectfully." Uh, Nell says, "Yeah, she didn't have anything to do with it." And then Stormy interrupts her and says, "Nell, she will speak, but it requires you not to." And this is something like, that's why I said I don't feel no either one way or the other about Stormy. Like, I'm not like everyone else who's very emotionally invested and who were like they can't stand Stormy. I'm not that person. Now, do I agree with certain things that she do? That's like, girl, yeah, I see you, but I'm not like to where it's just like, I can't stand her. No, but I don't like how she interrupted Nell and tried to make it seem like Nell was just being rude and cutting her mom off, because she wasn't. Bitch, you cut Nell off actually when she was talking, and the lady told Stormy like, "You was rude. You interrupted her. So what the fuck are you talking about? Pipe down." Melly said she didn't know it was an issue and wants to know what the issue was. So Betty said, "A secret recording. You didn't shut down the people who were saying it was Stormy." And I feel like at the same time, I don't like, she didn't have to do that shit. I don't give a fuck. She didn't have to, but she did. And you had an issue talking about some. Well, you apologized and you said that person. You weren't specific. Girl, shut the fuck what? She said what she said. Move the fuck on. It's not that deep. Because first of all, she on a TV show. It's a lot of people who say a lot of things and run with it. I feel like you on a TV show, you're gonna have to be prepared for people, the fans or whoever, or the audience, running with shit. It's not gonna stop. Guess what? It's gonna keep happening. So no matter where it comes from, what situation it comes from, fans, especially these fans, Love and Marriage Huntsville, these very emotionally invested fans, I'm talking about, they go too far with it, that I feel like they're always gonna run with it. You gotta be prepared for that. So I'm not about to come. I don't. We gotta separate the actual person from their fan base. You can't. We can't. These people cannot control their fans. No celebrity has ever been able to control their fans ever. Yes, they are connected, so we can see how it can reflect back onto that person. But at the end of the day, we have to understand these are thousands of people who have their own opinions. They're gonna run with it. They're gonna run with stuff. It's never gonna stop. It's gonna be something. So I just don't feel like Melody had to really go more in depth. She already had apologized. Okay, she didn't say her name. So the fuck what? The people who ran with it, they knew who they was talking about. So when Melody apologized, they knew who she was referring to. You didn't hear her name, so the fuck what? Get over it. And I feel like What's up with these fucking grown ass, old ass parents trying to be involved with their kids? Grown as fuck. Grown as hell. Like, your child is old enough, she can handle her own self. She too grown for her to be her mama. Like, Unless you physically harming my child, I'm gonna let you handle it. Cause I know I raised you where you can't handle shit like that. Like, sit the fuck down, Miss Betty. Like, I'm tired of this dynamic of these overly involved parents wanting to fight their grown ass adult children's battles. If it's not physical and you ain't physically harming my child, I'm gonna let my child handle it because I know she can handle it. Like, sit down somewhere. It ain't that deep. It's really not. It's Melody says everybody says things about her every day, and she can apologize for a tweet that rubbed her the wrong way. Betty tells Melody to shut up, and that's when I would have said and that's what I would have said. You shut the fuck up, and you can get the fuck out. You and your daughter, and I wouldn't have felt no ways about it. Period. Because I don't like how these older people, especially in the South, these older women feel like you should respect them no matter what, but they don't want to give respect. That's what I don't fuck with. I don't fuck with that. I give respect automatically, but if you disrespect me, you could be man, woman, child, elder, adult, my same, whatever. I'm gonna disrespect you. You're not gonna sit here and disrespect me, and I have been nothing but respectful to you, and tell me to shut up. And I don't cuss your ass the fuck out. I don't give a fuck if your daughter's sitting there, and I don't give a fuck how old you are. I would have told her ass, you can shut the I would have said, oh no ma'am, you shut the fuck up and you get the fuck out. You and your daughter out of my party that I invited you to. You got me messed up. That's one thing I don't play with. You're not about to disrespect me just because you feel like you an elder. No, don't happen that way, because respect goes both ways. I don't care how old you are. I would have cussed her ass the fuck out. And if Stormy would have felt the way she would have tried to uh pipe up at me, I would have cussed her ass the fuck out too. Period. Like, girl, get your mama the fuck up out of here. Cause ain't nobody did nothing or said nothing disrespectfully to your mama. So she don't have the right to tell me to shut up. You crazy as hell. And I feel like either they edited something out, but I would have never been that calm. I would have calmly told her, no, oh no, we're not doing that. No, you can shut the fuck up and you can get the fuck out. Period. Like, you got me messed up. I'm sorry, but I don't do that. Oh, respect your elders no matter what. They can disrespect you, they can talk shit about you all they want, but you gotta sit there and take it. No, I'm not with that. Not at all. And Betty talking about, oh, I just have a problem with you doing things. That's not your problem. That's not your problem. You had a problem with Melody because you were a fan watching the show just like everybody else, and you just didn't like her personality on the show. And that's where your opinion started. That's why you don't dislike her. Not because of this situation. It came way before that, before you even met her. You already formed your opinion about her. So then when you did meet her, you still had that opinion and you let that shit ride. Period. It ain't got nothing to do with that. And you one of those fans, you one of the people like, oh, well, I feel this way about her before I even. So if I meet her in person, I'm gonna stand on what I say and what I feel. You don't not like her for no fucking secret recording. You just you're just a fan who don't like a certain person on the show. And that's that. Be honest about it. Kiki says Tiffany has been lying and they talk about the spa day. Kiki says they do know each other. Her son is on her husband's baseball team, or was for a short period of time. And she sent with Melody to help Tiffany find her father. So Kiki really let it be known about Tiffany. Because Tiffany was trying to make it seem like she don't know her and she's never talked to her and never had a conversation with her. And it's like, why though? Because it's be weird to me. If you don't know somebody, why do you have such strong feelings about them? Like, you've never talked to them anything. You would have to have been around that person to have that such strong feelings about something that they did. Because if you ain't never interacted with this person or anything, why the fuck are you worried about it? You don't deal with this person on a daily. They're not in your personal life. So what they did to someone else is not going to affect you personally in your life. So why do you care? So Kiki called her out on it. Like, stop acting like you don't know me at all. You do. Like, I literally have sat at your face. Like, Tiffany literally lied and said, I've never sat down and had a conversation with you. And they showed that they literally did sit down at the table and have a conversation about something very intimate about her life. So, yeah. Kiki called her ass out. And then Kiki gonna say, yeah, and I know who my father is, by the way. Yeah, and everybody mouth dropped. Yeah, that was a low blow and that was a dig. But I don't like how Kiki didn't stand on that shit. I don't like when people don't stand on shit. You big and bad, you want to talk all that shit, and then when you into it with somebody, you say or do some shit, stand on that shit. Period. Stand on it. That's me. If I get into it, I don't get into it with a lot of people because I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I stay to myself. And I'll start shit with nobody, but best believe I'll finish it. So when I do something or say something, I'm gonna stand on it. So Kiki, you was big and bad talking all that shit to her. Stand on that shit. The fuck? Don't try to backpedal because people calling you out and saying, "Ooh, that was a dig." It was. Stand on it. Period. The fuck? I respect you more. I respect people more when they stand on what they did, what they said, and who they are. I respect people like that. So Kiki, I'm gonna need you the next time you get in, stand on what you said. Like, girl, it's not like you said it behind somebody's back. You said it in front of everybody. Everybody heard it. Everybody knew it was a dig. Stand on that shit. But that was the Love and Marriage Huntsville season 15, episode 6 review.